Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and today I want to show you a question that is so honest and beautiful. I love it. I'm not talking about the woman; she's a pretty girl, but that's not my point here. What I love about it is the honesty, the patency, which means open. I love it, and I'm going to answer the question very interesting way that she puts this. Okay, and I'm going to even kind of pull a couple of guys that have their viewpoint. You can kind of go to their article or their website with that, and how they explain it with that too. Okay, so let's listen to her viewpoint, and this comes on the edge of a ton of people who were talking about Rosh Hashanah, which today is the 26th. This is just in the middle of the Rosh Hashanah season. Rosh Hashanah is the time frame of the Feast of Trumpets that is for the Jews, is not for Christians, but Rosh Hashanah is the coronation of the king. The coronation of the king is when the Jews need to get right with the people around in their community so that they can be right at Yom Kippur. Okay, so let's talk about what she says here. It's a really gorgeous statement with that.
I have a question for all post-tribulation rapture believers. We all agree, right, that after the tribulation, when Jesus reigns on earth for 1,000 years, that we get to be here with him on this planet, right? So when he raptures us after the tribulation, does he rapture us up to bring us right back down? Like, I'm not, like, I say this in the most respectful way possible. I don't understand why he would go to prepare a place for us if we don't even get to go there.
Okay, this is a good point. I love this question. We're going to listen to it a second time because I want to click on the points here. Okay, so listen to it a second
I have
time.
a question for all post-tribulation rapture believers. We all agree, right, that
Post-tribulation rapture means after the rapture viewpoint. Okay, right? So after after the tribulation, the rapture, which is harpazo. Rapture is the Latin word that is in. And by the way, people get so sideways with that word. Stop getting sideways. It is over and over and over and over again. You can find it in First Corinthians 15. You can find it in First Thessalonians 4:16. You can find the allusion over and over again. What would you see that word? In some versions, it says caught up. That is in Greek, it's called harpazo. Rapture is just the Latin word. Okay, so don't get upset about it. Rapture is just a doctrinal word. Okay, trust me, it is there. Okay, so it means to be taken out or to be, and in Greek, the way to think about that, harpazo means, is like a chess piece. You would be taken off of the chessboard in a, not in an ugly, violent way, but to whisk off the board with that too. Okay.
after the tribulation, when Jesus reigns on earth for 1,000 years, that we get
So you'd be taken off
to
the
be here
planet.
with him on this planet, right? So when he raptures us after the tribulation, does he rapture us up to bring us right back down? Like, I'm not, like, I say this in the most respectful way possible. I don't understand why he would go to prepare a place for us if we don't even get to go there.
So, and it's such a gorgeous question. Okay, so let's pop her off the screen here, and we're going to bring up what she's asking in the questions there. This one is a website, and by the way, I'll have this in descriptions. Okay, so here on the site, and I'm trying to make this bigger, but if you make it too big, it's a little bit blurry. Okay, so this guy's site, the timing of the rapture, he just talks about a pre-tribulation, before the tribulation. It's a really pretty little statement here. So he talks about the church. I have conversations about the church, and I will show you that kind of thing. the rapture, so up, goes up here, the rapture of the church, then the second coming, whoop, back down, okay? Into the millennial reign, the 1,000-year reign. That's what he's talking about here. Post-tribulation rapture, Tony's view, his viewpoint is this one. Boop, goes, we have the rapture of the church, this little brownish section here, whoop, but then you would go back down and be in that kind of time frame, okay? So he has that kind of viewpoint. That's an explanation point. Let's show you another one. Let's use a different one here. This is how this person explains it. Let me make it a little bigger here. Another viewpoint, the two different ways of explaining this one here is a post-trib versus pre-wrath. Now, let me explain post-trib versus pre-wrath. I've been studying this puppy for literally 42, 43 years, and post-trib and pre-wrath this is why I love this woman's conversation. She would be what I call a Z generation, is asking a really powerful question, because pre-2000, the only conversation was post-trib and pre-trib. So backward here in this conversation, I'm going to arrow up here. You had two different positions: the situation pre-tribulation, or at the tribulation, beginning of the tribulation, versus at the at the end of the tribulation. So this is where these two positions are here. Okay. So what happened is that people would argue these two different time frames, right? And so the pre-tribulation people versus the post-tribulation people, I used to actually live in both camps at one point in time, right? And so I would say, well, wait a second. And when I kind of leaned more in the pre-tribulation camp, we would call it the holy U-turn. You would go up and then you would come right back down. And that's exactly what she's saying. Why would God take us up and then bring us right back down? And this is what she's saying. So in and around 2000, the camp of pre-wrath, or the post-tribulation people, started to bring up this position called pre-wrath. So what they did is they started to go, wait a second, let's call it pre-wrath. So before the really bad things started to really come out there, and around the 6th trumpet to 7th trumpet, this is what they would come up with, and all the bowls of wrath, they started to say, you know what, when it gets really, really ugly, then let's go ahead and take out all the believers in Christ. When you're not appointed for wrath, that would be in Philippians, let's take out the really bad people, the really good people, and take out the circumstance, this pre-wrath position. So you're going to be on the planet all the way through, and then you would be taken out for the really horrible, horrible circumstances with that too. And so, but you would then, so you'd be in heaven for just a little bit of time frame, and then you would come back during the millennial reign. So you'd be in heaven for what? Anywhere from, there's 45-day, a 30-day period, and then there would be a 7 to 15 whatever day period of time. But that's a very short period of time to be in heaven. Okay, so again, this kind of a circumstance is a little bit difficult. Now, I'm gonna back up here and pull this off the stage. Now, if you want to know a little bit more, you can always go. Let me bring this up here. So I have to kind of pull that off the screen. And I'm going to give you one last little thing. I'm trying to make this short. I'm not trying to make this long. You can always go to drscottyoung.com and you can see the little bit longer, the longer videos, the longer kind of things, ability to see this. You can download this kind of setup, the whole thing about how actually this works. And you can download the Hope in the Last Days, but you can also download the Tribulation setup to see how this actually sets up. And this is free. You can do this for free and see everything about this. If you want to know a lot more about the tribulation and all those viewpoints to know and exactly what is going to happen down the road, this will give you a better understanding. But I really appreciated,
I have a question.
excuse me,
All post-trib.
I appreciated this woman asking this question. Ask those questions. You can go to drscottyoung.com and ask great questions like that. And I'm happy to answer them for you too. Thanks so much.